Welcome, everybody, to Four Guys Talking Football here on a podcast on Friday Night Victors. And surrounding the table, like usual, is Triple G, Gary Huff. Triple G standing for Gridiron Guru Gary. We got Sleepy, Mr. Jeff Grodi with us, and Christopher Schultz, the founder of Friday Night Victors. I'm your host, Mike Lush, and we're here to talk. Oh, and we got Frank Vajcner with us tonight. I'm sorry, Frank. Special guest Frank Vajcner's with us tonight. He's kind of a pseudo guy among the four guys there.
And he is a regular on Friday Night Victors.
And he is.
We love what he brings to the table. So
I told you got to be careful, Mike.
He may chime in here. We don't necessarily have a mic for him, but we'll be good to go.
So we're gonna. This is week 7. We're going to go over the week 7 games. We're going to talk about some upcoming games, and then we're going to wrap it up talking about Michigan and Michigan State football.
Criminy!
I'm gonna.
Is there anything to talk about with Michigan State? I mean,
there's lots.
I do have thoughts on that, but I think I need to probably tone it down a little bit.
All right, so I'm going to reel off the games that happened last week because my phone's dying and it won't stay on. It won't stay awake here.
He's not the best in the business for nothing.
Hillsdale 28 over Ida 14. 28-14. Hillsdale beats Ida.
I didn't think that was a surprise at all, but the game was tied 14-14, I believe, at halftime.
And Hillsdale's still undefeated. Mark Lemeron's got another really good team out there, and so I don't think that was unexpected.
Yeah, and I think what was a big difference for Ida is they did lose Owen Sampson to an injury in that game, and I think he is the straw that stirs the drink for them.
Yeah, losing Sampson hurt. So, but that was a expected outcome. They doubled up Ida, but Ida was in the game. All right, Dundee, Frank, your squad 43 over British.
I thought Ida
British
was
British Columbia.
British Columbia.
The British Columbia Lions. Come on, we're not talking the CFL here.
This is called BCC 6. Dundee puts a whipping on BCC.
Okay. How many of you guys saw this coming?
I did. I saw it. I picked
didn't see
it.
that big
I
of a
didn't see that one.
I said the exact
score.
score.
He could win. I didn't see it.
I mean, I thought they could win too, but I mean, I was shocked they beat them by 37. It's like, this is the same BCC team that beat Ida by 18. I don't know what happened.
Anyway,
it was a big win for the Vikings.
Yeah, it was a one they had to have too.
Absolutely.
Going in the playoffs, had to have it. All right, let's move on here. Monroe 30, Huron of Ann Arbor, zilch.
I'm surprised it was that close.
I am too.
I mean, it was 30-0 at halftime, but
Has Huron won yet a game this year?
yeah,
They did.
They
They
did.
beat E-Course.
They won one
in the
game.
opener.
Yep.
I
That's
think
surprising. E-Course must be really bad.
Well, they dressed like 13 kids for that game.
Yeah.
Naterio got up to 30, and then he obviously called the dogs off
the
at
dogs.
Sure.
All right, so and another one, Monroe had to have it to stay alive. All right, wow, this is a game that I was paying attention to when we were on the radio, Jeff, and so were the CC folks below us in the stands. Milan defeats Huron of New Boston 22-21.
I was surprised that Huron was actually leading 14-0 at halftime. I was checking scores as well as like, holy
21
smokes.
I really wasn't surprised because their offense is to the wings, to the outside.
Yeah.
And Huron's and Milan's pretty good on in the middle. So
Yeah.
I mean, their linebackers are pretty fast, and their safety, of course, is the best player in the league.
Well, they like Tristan Hines. You'd think with all his speed, he goes to the outside, but they really don't. They like to run up the middle, and then he breaks it from there to the outside, left, right. You don't know where he's going. But you're right. That was a close contest. Huron
It was
playing very well.
It was 21-7 at one time. Milan and Hoskins make adjustments. I think Huron's up 21-14, and they have fourth down inside their own 40-yard line, and fourth and short, and they decide to go for it. They turn it over. They give a short field to Milan. Milan scores to go for 2. Game over.
Yeah,
I was impressed with Huron the week before against St. Mary Catholic Central.
Yeah.
I thought they played a real strong game.
Yeah, Huron. Yep.
Yeah, but here's something else too. Milan's Cole McElvaney, he was the star of the game, scored all 3 touchdowns. So now you've got someone else to worry about when you're playing Milan. It's not just the Tristan Hines show.
You got that right. All right, we're going to move on here. Airport puts a – this game was way out of hand early. 55, Flat Rock 28.
Ooh.
I think Flat Rock's just fading, just completely on the fade. I think earlier in the year they're a little bit stronger, but yeah, I wouldn't have expected that large a victory, but they're
And that
not playing good football.
That score's not as close as the game
It was like
really
55
was.
to 7 or something.
It was bad, and that surprises me from my Rams because That's a pretty big rivalry, but I think it goes to show you that Airport's pretty doggone good.
They're good.
Well, I wasn't too impressed though with Flat Rock when I only see the St. Mary Catholic Central games. So when St. Mary Catholic Central played Flat Rock, I was not impressed with Flat Rock at all.
They have some good individual players.
They have individual players, and that's
They just
exactly
maybe don't have the depth that they've had the last couple of years over there.
No, they don't. All right, here we go. SMCC 26, Grozeal 12 at Navarre.
I'm going to steal a line from you.
Yeah.
It's kind of workmanlike fashion. They took care of business. Melanzi made a great individual play at the end of the game that to give him that,
Grodai's call on that was amazing. He was going this way, then going this way.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
It was on the opposite 30. Yeah, there we go.
Amazing individual play. But then again, you don't see that a lot against the Central team. Usually we take care of the football like that, but Melanzi ripped it out of his hands and he was gone the other way. It was kind of interesting to watch, but they took care of business.
Yep, got the W. And
they rested Alex Morgan. Other than the one play, he had come in and ran 60 yards and got caught from behind.
He did because he's still not 100%.
Still not 100%.
Should have mentioned Wyatt Bergmoser had himself a nice game.
That kid's like
he
the
had a
Swiss
nice
Army
hit,
knife.
too.
I've said the
CC.
same thing about him, too. He can run the ball. He's kicker. He can play defense.
Doing it all, man.
Defense, though, he made
He had the
probably
hit of
the
the game.
best hit of the season.
Yeah.
He put it on Nathan Brown over towards the down box.
Yeah, that was
and then there was a penalty.
Yeah. I don't believe that was a penalty, but I wasn't over on that side.
But I don't know what the penalty was called for.
But we can't talk about this game without mentioning maybe the best player on the field, Giuseppe or Gillespie. Which one is it? Pizzo.
I'm going to go with Giuseppe.
Giuseppe Pizzo, only a junior, played a fantastic football game.
He was all over for Grozeal.
Boy, he has some good feet on him. All right, another big game. Clinton 44, Whiteford 20. Big battle.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that Clinton took care of this one. They're highly ranked in Division 7, although they may not get too far in the playoffs because they will probably run into Lumen Christie. But I think Whiteford was looking for a chance to punch their ticket to the playoffs. I think this could have got them a little closer, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be, and the better team ended up winning.
Yeah, I think it's as simple as
Clinton's
that.
a real deal.
The better team won. Clinton's really good. Whiteford's probably a year away.
Yep.
And who else we got here? Carlson 30, Harper Woods 16.
That's a big victory on the road. I mean, I understand that Harper Woods was, 3-3 coming into the game, or they were 2-3 coming into the game because they had only played 5 games, but they had played a tough schedule. For Carlson to go down there and win the way they did, that was a big win for Jack Jarmo's program over there. It's kind of a signature win because the knock on teams from the Downriver League is they only play each other because they had 10 teams and they'd get into the playoffs and they'd struggle a little bit. But with the exodus of Melvindale out to the Western Wayne, it opened up an opportunity to play outside the Downriver League, and this was good. This was good for Carlson to get out there, play somewhere else, play against some big-time talent. I think Jarmo wins the coaching in that game. Talent-wise.
Puts him a win away from being playoff eligible, too, and I think that's important up at that school.
Yeah. So, anyway.
All right, Bedford 42, Ann Arbor Pioneer 28.
I thought this one was going to be a nail-biter, especially since it was on the road at Pioneer. I figured it'd be pretty close, but...
It was 28-28.
Well, it really was. It was 28-28 going into the fourth quarter. And
but here's the thing.
Mules.
For Bedford, what can Brown do for you? Christian Brown, 3 bills on the ground.
My man Frank.
He's good.
What can Brown do for you? I love it.
And he has been the man for Bedford.
He absolutely has.
That should be a marketing slogan.
Right?
UPS had it way back when. So.
You stole that from UPS.
They don't use it anymore.
There you go.
Okay.
Theft.
I've heard. All I know is back in my day when I was at University of Toledo, when I was calling games there, we would kind of say the same thing about a point guard named Juice Brown.
Okay.
Although the guy
Famous
who I was
Juice
with,
Brown.
Juice Brown reference.
He makes a show.
yeah. Although the guy I
podcast.
was with at the time was a UPS employee, so.
All right, here we go. The Eagles of Erie Mason fall to the Royals of Blissfield, 54-26.
Same story for Erie Mason all year. You can score okay, got a decent offense, but you can't stop anybody. So Blissfield's a good team, and they rang up 55. That's not surprising.
Offense fills the house, defense wins championships.
That's it, man. Yeah.
All right.
That's very true.
What is Blissfield playing? Are they playing D6?
Yes.
Yes, they will be.
So St. Mary's could possibly
run
Blissfield.
into
Oh gosh,
Possibly.
Memories.
Yeah.
So I don't mean to give any of you
we could spend a half
FNCC
hour on
folk,
that memory. We're not gonna do
PTSD.
Yeah.
All right. Riverview 26. Jefferson with a safety 2.
Well, the Bears played them pretty tough. I think you're seeing that Gigi knows getting his team playing harder. They're making improvements day by day. But this is the year to show how much better you can get. I mean, last year was just atrocious, and now they're trying to say, hey, we're not a doormat anymore.
Well, they're a lot better this year than they were last year.
They are.
It's not even close.
Sleepy,
Maybe
you
you know
got
this.
some thoughts?
Wake up, Jeff,
Well,
wake up.
maybe you know this, Frank. I went to a junior high football game in Flat Rock. I went and seen Flat Rock. They're undefeated at the junior high level. You get this kid, boom, hit 200 yards in the first 11 minutes. But Flat Rock's next game was canceled against Riverview Junior High. Is the program in trouble at Riverview?
No, all their kids are playing for the Riverview Little League program.
Okay. That makes sense then. They all moved
That's wishful thinking.
away from this. Well, they all moved away from the school. Why is that, though?
I don't know. You get to play more games. I think it is. You only play 6 down there in middle school. A lot of times they're playing 8, 9, 10 games down in the Downriver League of the Junior Football League. So
When they get to high school, they'll be back.
yeah,
Yeah. All right. So this is a game in the.
Well, I didn't understand why they canceled the junior high season. Yeah.
This is a game in the Tri-County Conference I thought would be a little closer. Sand Creek 40, Summerfield 8.
Well, I think Summerfield just walked into a hornet's nest here because Sand Creek, I think, was pretty angry after they lost to Whiteford, and they took all their frustration out on the Bulldogs.
I think their nickname's the Aggies.
It
but
is the
Hornets
Aggies.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, here's the thing. They're the Aggies, but their mascot is a longhorn steer.
Wow.
Well, I think that is what an Aggie is. I think.
No, because
right.
you go back to when Texas and Texas A&M played each other. You had the Longhorns of Texas versus the Aggies of Texas A&M.
Right.
The
So it's kind of an
agriculturals.
oxymoron.
Maybe they were aggravated when they
It's
played.
possible.
That's a good one, Mike.
But Sand Creek puts a whipping on Summerfield.
Okay,
Sand Creek going into probably Division 7. They're looking to make some noise. Probably going into Clinton right away, and that should be a good game, a little rematch action. But all right, so we're moving on. What are we talking about now? That's a high school football segment.
So
Week
that's
7.
the high school wrap-up,
Yeah.
right? So now we're going to talk a little Michigan State football.
What are we talking about first?
Who do we want to go with
I don't know
first?
anything about Michigan
Yeah, well, let's
State.
talk about Michigan State first because Chris has got a lot of thoughts on
You guys
that.
talk about that.
I might have some too.
Final was 38-0
I saw the
Wisconsin,
score.
correct?
It was, I think it was
Right.
38-0. And
It was. I was watching it and I fell asleep.
I have to
during
be
that
honest
game.
with you.
Thank
I didn't
God
see the
did.
game. I just saw some lowlights for Michigan State. So I'll defer to you, Chris. Your thoughts on that?
I was fortunate that my daughter had homecoming and we had pictures at that time. But here's the thing: State got crushed, and people can say, well, the offense stinks and Lewerke's no good, but Lewerke was leading the Big Ten in passing yardage and total yardage coming into the game. The defense is pretty good, even though they had given up a big number to Ohio State. Everybody's going to give up a big number to Ohio State.
Yep.
But they literally, they got pounded.
Yeah.
And
So
it
how
was,
good is
it was,
Wisconsin
It
then?
was, and
It's hard to
I
tell.
think you have to be fair to say Wisconsin is very good.
Mm-hmm.
They have a great running back who has a great
Jonathan
opportunity
Taylor.
to win the Heisman Trophy.
He's very
They have a
good.
very good defense.
top 5
They have
pick.
an underrated coach. Now, with that said, they beat Michigan State while playing at home. They did the same thing to Michigan, right? It was 35-0, ends up 35-14. That was at home as well. But I think
Hard to play on the road in the Big Ten.
it really
It
is.
is.
I just don't know if State's very good.
I would agree with Chris on that too, especially since I'm a Michigan State fan as well.
You're going to say that on the air?
Yeah, I will admit that on the air, but
I didn't realize
but
that.
it's gotten frustrating. I mean, I can understand Chris's frustration and other fans' frustration as well.
State fans we're not slappies like you of M.
Yeah,
guys.
we're
we
not-
call them like we see them.
We're
Okay, so
realists.
I think it's like this with Michigan State. I did not. I saw some of the game, but D'Antonio's raised the expectations at Michigan State. Back when it was John L. Williams and whoever
L. Smith,
whoever
Bobby
they had there,
Williams.
Bobby. 7-5 was you'd take 7-5.
Yeah.
Now 7-5 is bad, at Michigan State. You want to win 10 games or better. D'Antonio has brought that to Michigan State, and you guys, as Michigan State people, will be forever thankful for that. He's the best coach in your history, probably best coach ever will be in your history.
That's a very fair assessment.
And I don't.
But
I can't comment anymore on that. It's just your expectations have been raised.
I'll just say this. I mean, yeah, he has been the best coach in school history, but that doesn't give him the right to burn down what he built.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if that's.
Well, they've got a lot of internal problems there as well with the coaching staff going on the athletics.
He's loyal
how about
to
this?
fault.
You guys are You guys are talking about coaching change at Michigan if Harbaugh were to leave or to go to the NFL or get fired. Who the heck knows? You guys talk about was Chris Peterson from Washington. Okay.
Yeah.
How about we just talked about Wisconsin? Their defensive coordinator,
Jim Leonard.
How about him going to Michigan State, taking over that, or going to Michigan for crying out loud? He's a heck of a football coach.
It could be a possibility him moving on. I would like to see
he will.
The guy that's over at Eastern Michigan right now maybe
Chris Creighton?
transition into D'Antonio's position if and when D'Antonio decides to leave. And
But Wisconsin's defense is putting up historic numbers. Historic.
Kind of play off that, Gary. I know Wisconsin's defense has been good. In fact, guy who I co-host a radio show with on Saturdays in Toledo, he tells me that Wisconsin's going to go to Columbus and beat Ohio State.
It may happen. It may happen.
It could happen.
No, it won't happen.
No.
It may.
On the road, no way.
That is going to be a clash of offensive philosophies right there.
It's basically going to be
different.
the unstoppable force against the immovable object.
Wisconsin has a quarterback. That's the difference for them. That's why they're so good.
Where is the
right
Michigan-Ohio State game?
It's in Ann Arbor.
Michigan has a better chance of beating Ohio State than Wisconsin.
All right, we'll see.
So let's segue. Let's go ahead into the Michigan game.
Sorry.
Thanks, Jeff.
And Michigan ended up winning 42-25, but you guys all saw the game. Michigan was up 28-0, and then Illinois scored 25 straight.
I tuned in to see Brandon Peters, and then when I realized he wasn't playing,
He was out.
I turned it off.
Former Michigan quarterback Brandon Peters, he was out due to injury, so he didn't get to play against Michigan. But
I watched Georgia, South Carolina.
my thinking when I was watching that game as a Michigan fan was we're up 28-0, and we looked pretty good doing it. We looked very solid. And I thought,
Running
okay,
the ball.
if we come out in the second half and we continue to do what we did, we win the game, 52-0, 52-7. That's a good step forward. And then the wheels fell off. And we started making stupid plays. We were fumbling the ball. We can't hang on to the football.
That's the problem.
Some concerns.
The turnovers. If you have a typical turnover year, these games are a lot closer. The Wisconsin game would have been a little bit closer. We wouldn't have won, but if some of these wins that we have, 10-3, was it 42-27 over Illinois? Those games would be much further apart if we just hang on to the football. Michigan have 17 fumbles, lost 9 or 10 of them. Sure.
But
that's
turnovers
insane.
are part of the game.
Well,
that's insane.
Well, what they say, ball security is job security.
Well, it is.
Apparently, though, at Michigan, it doesn't matter if you turn the ball over because why does he keep going with Patterson? That guy fumbles a lot.
It wasn't him.
It wasn't
the
him,
running
though.
back.
He actually played a pretty good game.
Everybody's fumbling the football. It's
because
insane.
Bo had the philosophy he was bringing in the next guy.
He maybe should. I don't know.
Yeah, it was True Wilson and Zach Charbonnet both lost a fumble.
Yeah.
If somebody else fumbled and we got it
back.
back.
Patterson was the one.
Well,
who
we're going to
fumbled.
know this weekend. They play Penn State on the road at night. It's a whiteout games on national TV. We really are going to find out where Michigan's at.
Michigan has a chance instead of the lost in space to actually show the speed in space that they've been talking about.
Right.
And they have a chance to right everything right now, at least for a week until they play Notre Dame the next week. But
sure.
Or they could lose 42-10, and
see, that's the problem with Michigan's team this year. I think, Gary, for me, is they could go and get beat 42-10, and I wouldn't be shocked.
No.
But they could go and win that game, and I wouldn't be shocked. Which I don't know if that's good or bad.
I would be shocked if they played really well. I would be. They haven't played well much.
I agree, but they could win the game.
I would be. If they do, it'll be 17-14
It'll be
or something like that. Yeah. But if Penn State's offense shows up,
and that was an impressive win by Penn State going into Iowa.
Yeah,
that's a tough place to play.
Yeah, going into Kinnick and winning at night,
and they didn't really play that well, but they did what they had to do.
That's what I'm saying. At night, whiteout. Night game, national TV, college game day is going to be there. If Michigan can win this game, their season is heading in the right direction. But on this, like I just said, they can get spanked at halftime, be down 20. And what I'm actually looking for is, will Harbaugh pull the trigger? Michigan, Penn State goes up 17-0, and midway through the second quarter, does he pull?
You want Joe
Patterson
Milton in there?
I don't know. Anybody.
Well, I don't know if McCaffrey's going to be ready.
If it's 17-0 with 8 minutes left in the second quarter, which is a definite possibility, does he pull Patterson? And I think he should.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's all going to depend if Dylan McCaffrey is cleared to play or not. I think you do that if he's able to.
He is. Or put Milton in there. I don't care.
Well, the thing with Joe Milton is, if you commit to him for the rest of the season, you're basically gonna
be a problem.
Trust the process.
You got to have
let him grow because he's still kind of raw. You throw him in, tell him to sink or swim.
You got to be able to do two things in Michigan's new offense, okay, which doesn't look a whole lot different than the
old offense. Yeah.
But I think what Patterson, he doesn't have a strong arm and he can't run very well. What can he do? The other guys both have good arms. Milton has a cannon, and they both can run. Certainly McCaffrey. He probably won't make it through a game, but he's an excellent runner. Patterson can't do either. And so I just think he is a big problem. He and the turnovers, huge problem.
Doesn't Michigan's offense look completely different from last year? Because they were number 2 in the Big Ten in total offense last year.
I'm talking, the effectiveness, sure. I'm talking about necessarily the way they go about their business. It doesn't look much different.
I mean, it's starting to look like Harbaugh made an error there and should have just
possibly,
Well, when they came out and they said they were going to do the RPO, the run-pass option, I mean, it doesn't look anything like that.
You can't do that with Shea Patterson. He never pulls the ball, and he's not fast.
Right.
He's not. He can't run anybody over, and he's not fast.
The thing with Patterson is he's a single-read shotgun QB. And to do the run-pass options, you can't have somebody who's just a single-read guy.
He's like a West Coast offense. He's 3 steps and get it
passes.
out. That's what he
can
do.
Rich Rodriguez.
That's what he can. That's what he can do. They need to put another quarterback in there that has the big arm, that can run. That offense will go.
And especially since he's got some good receivers. Tariq Black, Donovan Peoples-Jones. And where was Nico Collins last game?
Yeah.
He did not have a single catch.
I don't think Tariq Black's that good, but that's me. The other two are really good, but I don't think Tariq Black's good.
Well, all right, guys. That's your thoughts on the Michigan game. That wraps up our podcast here for Friday Night Victors. This is the 4 Guys Talking Football, and we will see you next time.